Hey everyone, welcome to another Authentic Health podcast. I'm your host Lacey, and today I have the wonderful Mallory here to chat all of the things. So thank you, Mallory, for being here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Of course. We have all of our therapy dogs.
Yes.
It is taking us a second to record because Sansa was breathing right in the mic and she was hitting it with her paw.
Yes.
But now I think we're calmed down.
Yeah,
I think we're ready.
I think we're good. Everyone's ready.
Are you excited? Are you nervous?
I'm both. I think just because I don't listen to podcasts very often, I think I would feel more prepared if I did. But I'm also like afraid to say too much type of thing. But yeah, it'll be good.
Well, that's my favorite thing about podcasts, because it's not like curated and it's not like short. Like I just like learning and like everyone has their own story and I don't know. I feel like podcasts are such a good way. It's like an intimate conversation, but then we post it online for everyone to see. Yeah. So that kind of defeats the purpose of an intimate conversation. But I don't even know where to start. There's so many things. So basically, we met through Above Able.
Correct. Yeah.
And how did you meet Nicole? Just through.
Through Samantha, who was the photographer beforehand, who were really good friends, and. Yeah, I just was able to fill in a couple times for Samantha, and now I'm the photographer for Above Able.
Yes.
And I love it.
Slight plug, if you don't know what Above Able is, go check it out. She's fantastic. It's an online boutique. Yeah. So, yes, you do all of the photography, and we've just met, and just hearing your story and just who you are inspired me, and I just think, I don't know, we've talked about it like at the shoots. I feel like so many women go through it and are kind of going through similar situations, but it's kind of a taboo topic or, I mean, even when we were talking before the podcast started, you're like, well, I don't really know what to say. Like, it's kind of, which direction do you go? What are you allowed to say? What are you not?
Yeah.
And so what better way just to talk about it?
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it. What are we talking about? What's the word?
Okay. So first, I just like to ask people, I heard this on another podcast and I just thought it was a great question, just to jump into, what is a dream that you have?
Oh, goodness. That's really big.
It is big.
A dream that I have that I haven't fulfilled yet?
Yeah, something you want to do.
Oh, goodness.
Big dream. It could be, like family, business, life in general. Like, if someone says, what's a big dream you have? What is it?
Gosh.
And this is where the podcast is
different. I know. I'm going two different ways with this.
Okay, let's go both.
Like I love just like the farm life, raising kids outside, animals, just healthy living. I go that way, and then the other way goes like towards fashion, like anything fashion. Oh yeah, I love like creating outfits. I would totally be one of those like online vloggers. Yeah. Like,
you totally should. We'll definitely dive into your backstory, but I think your family and life and like you're talking about the farm life, I think you do it very well, and it's so freaking adorable.
Thank you.
And your style, like I just love it.
Yeah, it's very creative to me. Like ever since I was little, like I just love like it's just creative. It's just another outlet. So
I read a post once because I feel like I get in my head when I like to work with Above Able, or like I like to learn like how you do photography, and people are like they'll say, I thought you were a dietitian, and I'm like, I am a dietitian, but anyways, this post basically said that people can just like to create, like it could be designing your house or creating a recipe or an outfit. I just like to create.
Yes. Yeah. And anything. And that yes. I mean, I do photography, and then last night I'm cutting up shorts and like just getting creative with Wrangler shorts and putting slits in them and bleaching them. And it's like I just love to create.
Good. I love that. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Good answer to that. I don't know if I would have an answer, so I always like putting the questions on you guys. Actually, I think that's why I like podcasting so much, because I can put all of it on someone else, and I'm just here to listen. Okay, so I don't know the title at this second. I don't know the title of this podcast yet, because I don't 100% know where we're going to go with it. But basically, all things talking divorce, kind of quote unquote starting a new life, all of that. We'll definitely dive into all of that. So let's just start with kind of your backstory. So what you were talking about before I pressed play, I was like, no, just wait.
Yes.
Okay, let's start there. So you want to start at 18?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's go.
So what I was saying is I was like, I just don't know how like relatable I'm going to be because I do feel like my life is a little different than most. I went a completely different path than most after high school. So I'll even go back a little bit further. I was raised in a Christian household, had all of those morals and values of, you know, we don't drink, we don't have sex before marriage, we don't cuss, you know, we go to church on Sundays. So that's how I was raised. And then I was just a very creative person, but I also, like, my dream was to be a wife and mother.
Yeah.
I had no desire to go to school. I struggled in school. I think it was because, you know, we did the same thing every day and there wasn't that creative outlet. I am very nurturing as well. And so, like, I didn't get that from school. And that's kind of where the wife and mother thing came about. I remember carrying around babies till I was like 12, just because I loved to mom, I guess you would say. So instead of going to college and pursuing a career, I started dating a guy my senior year. We didn't even live in the same state at the time.
Really? How did you meet?
No. Well, yeah. That's a whole nother thing. That's another non-relatable subject.
What?
I know. To make this as simple as possible. And that's the other thing. I think the other reason I don't listen to many podcasts is because I'm such a visual person. Yeah. So I'm like, at this point, I'm like, I want to draw you a family tree. And I know that sounds terrible. Okay. So my mom was married to now my ex-husband's adopted son.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a second.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay. Okay, so, I think I'm following.
So my mom was married before she had me, and she had triplets, boys.
I didn't know that. Oh my gosh, I'm learning so much about you. Okay.
So they're 8 years older than me.
Okay.
And so who she had them with, they got divorced 3 years after, so the boys were 3. And then he got remarried, and then my mom got remarried, and 8 years later had me. And then her ex-husband, who he married, he adopted her 3 sons.
Yes, okay.
So I knew of him most of my life, and my half-brothers, because we had the same mom, went to their dads where their adopted brothers were. Okay. Again, like it's almost like I need to draw a family tree. There's a 0 blood relation.
Wait, so is your triplet brother's adopted brother your first husband?
Yes. My triplet brother's, adopted brother.
Oh my gosh, I did not know any of that.
Yes, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so go through high school, you already knew him.
Yeah, yes. Like I knew of him. But you know, we never hung out. Obviously, that was my mom's ex-husband's.
Got it.
You know, but I will say, like, my mom got along very well with their stepmom.
Yeah. Okay.
So, which is great.
Okay. So then, you were 18. How old was he when you got married?
He was 22.
Okay.
And he had traveled like the world and been out of high school for a while. And you know, at 18. You know what you want to do, like, and there's no stopping you. Yeah. And so, of course, like, I had some people be like, "Are you sure?" Like,
did you date for a while before?
No, not very long.
How long were you guys dating?
Maybe a year, maybe.
And then you got married, not engaged, like a year on marriage?
We were, I mean, I would say it was like a year and a half, but like from dating and to getting married.
Okay.
Yes.
So now you're married. Now continue. What's next?
Then at 18, I grew up in a small town. I never switched schools, nothing. So in this teeny tiny little farm town, and I was like, yeah, let's get out of here. So I just thought it'd be a great idea. We're just going to move to Kansas City.
What?
6 hours away. It was both of our ideas at the time. His family had moved there for a church. And you know how you were when you're 18. You're like, I want to get out of this small town. Like, I want to go do this and that. And I found out very quickly, like within 6 months, I was not built for big town life.
In Kansas City, yeah.
Yeah, away from my family. It sounds really fun at the time, especially when you're that age.
Yeah.
But I learned very quickly it was not my cup of tea.
Okay, so how long were you guys in Kansas City before moving back?
We were there almost 6 years.
Oh, wow.
And that was not the plan.
So did you have your firstborn there?
We had 2 there.
You had 2 there?
Yep.
Okay.
So married at 18, had my first baby in 2010. So I was 21.
Oh my gosh.
And then 4 months later, after my first son was born, found out I was pregnant again, which was not planned. So we had, two kids there. I knew I wanted to have more, but was just really struggling not being around my mom.
Yeah. Because this is all, you will be a stay-at-home mom, and you knew that, and so you were taking care of the kids. He was going off to work. And,
Yeah, I was home.
No, you're totally fine. I'll put it up there.
I was helping by turning it off.
No, you're fine. You're totally fine.
So, okay, so what was the question again?
So, you're just taking care of these 2 very young babies by yourself in a town.
Yeah, basically by myself. Yeah. And like I was getting ready to say, I was really close with my grandparents when I was growing up, and I wanted that relationship for my kids. They were getting a little bit older. Of course, we were starting to look in preschools, and again, like I said, I wasn't a big town person, and I wanted my kids to be in a smaller school district, more of a farming lifestyle, like I grew up in. So,
awesome. Yeah. Okay, so then you moved back, and then things are still good, just living life here, and then you have your other babies here.
Yes. So. We got offered a family farmhouse, so that was kind of the turning point of moving back to Illinois. And then he also, at the time, was wanting to go to college to become a doctor.
Oh, okay.
Which I was like, okay, if we're going to do that, I need to be around my family who's very helpful. So that was okay, we're going to move back to Illinois. We had this house. And then right before we finished the renovations, which took about a year, I had my 3rd baby in 2014.
Okay.
And then had my 4th baby in 2016.
Oh, they're so cute.
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
So that's the house that I know you're still in, right? Okay.
Yes.
So you still have him there. Okay, so things are continuing. Did he go to?
He went to school. Yes, he worked about a year at a job in Champaign, actually, just a regular 9-to-5 job, and that was how he was able to also do some schoolwork online, and he also went as well. But then he got a job that consisted of quite a bit of traveling. Okay. So lots of overnights being gone, and I've got 3 and 4 kids at the time, and
okay. So when did it start? When did you guys know that it wasn't gonna stay anymore?
So
is that kind of the next jump in the story?
Yes. So I would say, again, I was 18.
Yeah.
And when I was 30 was when we started going through the divorce. I mean, I would be lying to you if I said there wasn't always something kind of in the back of my head we're just very different.
Yeah.
just completely different personalities. And that's hard. And I mean, it just, me being 18, moving
That's
6
young.
hours from home, away from my family for the first time, like that was just, it was a very challenging thing.
Yeah.
And when we were in Kansas City, we moved there for a church, and that was a very big toll on our relationship, because this church didn't require, I'm not going to say that, but really wanted you to be there like 4 days a week.
Oh, wow.
So yes, and that was a
Like
big
for
change.
service?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So that was difficult for me as well, because I went just on Sundays.
Yeah.
We didn't go 3, 4, 5 times a week.
Well, and like I'm very faith-based. Like I totally am. But like on top of kids and what they're doing and jobs, and like that's a lot.
It was a lot.
That's
so
a lot.
that is kind of where, and here's the other thing, like with social media, like everything looks perfect.
So good. So good.
And so it's always interesting, because everyone's like, oh, I thought everything was great. And it's like, no, we really had, like, there was a real strain on our marriage from the beginning.
Yeah. Well, and have you been on social media? Like, obviously, I know who you are now on social media. You know, your photography business. Have you always been on social media and, like, had that creative outlook, or that was, like, later?
No.
Okay.
So, like, we have Instagram and Facebook, and, like, I would post a lot of personal stuff on there, but no, not a business.
Okay.
So the business didn't come about until 2018 when we were in Illinois. Okay. But, I definitely posted a lot.
Okay.
All the good moments, like all the great things. So I guess to go back to your question, I can't really like pinpoint a time.
Yeah. Like it wasn't one big fallout?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Just kind of grew apart.
Yes. He was just very different. And the other thing too is I was 18 and I'm not the same person. Even at 25, I'm not the same person, or at 30, I'm not the same person, which I do understand, like things change. I have an aunt who's like 103.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Wow.
Still alive, and back then, like, she got married when she was 14.
Oh my gosh.
And they stayed married, and I absolutely think that can happen. Like, I'm not against that, but I also really think social media and all of that has played a big part in distancing and relationship issues, and
that's actually super interesting that you talk about that, because I feel like everyone like is like, oh, social media is great and all these things, but like if you actually dive deep, it's really not good sometimes. Like I'll watch some videos and it'll be like, oh, I didn't even know that what Jared may or may not be doing, and now I'm comparing it to this video and be like, well, why didn't you do this with me, or all the things. And then one of the services that I listened to a few weeks ago, they were doing a relationship, like a 4-week relationship, and they were just talking about, one of them was like, what are your priorities? And it should be like faith, family, then like your work, your finances, social media, all the things. And a lot of people have it backwards. It's finances and jobs and the social media life and all of that first, and then everything is completely backwards.
Yes. Yeah.
That's so interesting. Okay, so then why did you decide to start your photography business? Like, did you just feel like it was time to do your own thing? Like, because you were full-time, stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
Okay, take us through that. Like, when did you know? Why? Yeah, I want to know all that.
Okay. So I loved being a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
But it, like, you're at home all day with these kids, and that can't, like, talk back to you, and like you can't carry on a conversation with them. And so I was just feeling like I just wanted to get out, like I just wanted an outlet, and a hobby. Into, like, he would kind of get mad at like how much money I'd spend at Target, and I was like, well, if I go make my own money, then he can't really say a whole lot. So I was like, okay, well, this would, and my mom was a photographer before me.
Oh, cool.
So she was retiring, and it was just kind of the perfect time. My number 4 was just out of diapers, so it just kind of fell into place.
Yeah, that is an interesting topic. Me and Jared have talked about this. Like, if I were to ever stay at home, of course, he's like, no, it's our money and whatever. And I totally get that. But, like, I still feel like I would need something to stimulate, like, don't get me wrong, love the kids. Like, obviously that's not what we're saying. But, like, as adults, and especially how creative you are, and I think just how my mind works, I would still need something where I wake up and I'm working towards something, whether it's a craft or, like, I don't know. I feel like I would redesign the house 27 times.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. And I absolutely think there's some moms that can, but again, with me and being creative, and the other thing that I struggled with too is I just didn't have many mom friends because I was so young. Everybody else was older, and none of my friends had kids yet, and so I think I just needed that stimulation and that just creativity. It wasn't that I didn't love my kids. It wasn't that I was like tired of them or anything like that. It was just like, okay, what else? And photography was perfect because I could do it in the evenings after he'd get home, and really just do my own thing.
Absolutely. So building that, did you, like, what were his thoughts about that? Like, what did that look like?
He was very supportive.
Okay, good.
Yes,
good.
He was. He was supportive. He could tell that, like, I was struggling a little bit. I became very, very close with my mom because I would call her during the day, somebody to talk to. Like, he was supportive, and it was good.
Good. So as you're, going through this process, and we'll, dive into all of that, what does that look like running your business while, going through all of this with the kids? And I feel like we talk at shoots and stuff, and I just am like, how do you do it? Like, how do you do it all?
I don't know. Am I alive right now? Like, am I functioning?
No, this is all fake.
Oh my gosh.
Sansa, we need you for a therapy dog again.
Yes. Oh my goodness. I will tell you, the last 2.5 years have been like the worst ever. Like, it has been challenging. And I look back at my life, and like I said, I struggled through school. So what do I want to say? I get overwhelmed very easy, and that was kind of the thing. So I was put into, like, smaller classes. Like, I had and it's funny, like, I go back to that now, but I kind of want to shake myself, like, go back to my 18-year-old self. Oh yeah, and be like, what were you thinking? But in school, like in high school, I was put in like the special ed classes. And it was more because I would get overwhelmed. And so instead of them handing like 8 papers to me and telling me to do this, they would just hand one at a time. And I was able to grasp that better. So why did I think that I could do 4 kids and a business and go through a divorce? I'm not sure why. But I have been overwhelmed and stressed. And are there good moments? Yes. But it is difficult. And the other thing I want to point on too is, even if it was my decision, it is still extremely difficult.
Because I feel like that sometimes I hear like, oh, it was his decision, her decision, or like people start playing sides, and I feel like it doesn't matter. And I don't know, you can definitely touch on that. Like, doesn't matter whose the first idea was, it still sucks. Like, the whole thing just sucks.
Absolutely. And it takes 2 to tango. It's not just one person's fault. So I would say, to go back, after my 4th was born, he's now 6. So about after he was born, like, obviously, like, kids are a lot, like, they are, and work, and him going to school, and him traveling with work and being gone several nights a week, me running a business, like, it just, that stress and that weight just puts a toll on everybody. But I would say, I mean, for several years it was something, in the back of my head, like
like it was building. It was building,
yes. And the other thing that I go back to too is we are just so different. he was an extrovert. No, sorry. He's an introvert.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of an extrovert. I can go both ways. It exhausts me. Like, I can do it, but I
you
get
refill
tired.
your cup introvert.
Yes.
But you're an extrovert.
Yes.
That's how I am too. Like,
yes.
I am super, super extroverted, but if I hit my wall, I recharge as an introvert.
Yes.
Whereas Jared, if he's had a really bad week or he's, at his end, he wants to go out with friends because he recharges with friends.
No, I do not recharge.
I'm right there with you.
Okay, good to know.
I'm right there.
Okay.
I'm like, I just want to sit. He's like, what do you mean? It's been a long day. Let's go. And I'm like, no. Like, I want to be by myself.
Oh yeah, definitely. And like I said, we're so different. But the other thing is we didn't have much of a friendship.
Yeah.
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 We just, I hear people say like, oh, we just became roommates or just friends. Truthfully, I wouldn't even tell you we were even friends.
Just like co-parents.
Yes. And this was very interesting too. So are you familiar at all with Enneagram?
Yes. Well, I know like about mine, so I'm a 3. Like I don't 100% know everyone else's.
Okay. So
but I love them.
I do too.
I love learning about them.
Yes, I do too. It has really helped me in like every aspect of my life. And I'm like, again,
what are you?
I'm a 4.
Okay.
So I'm a feeler.
Okay.
Like we're gonna talk about my feelings.
And I have no feelings. So
I'm like very emotional. And so anyways, when we separated, and we didn't have much marriage counseling beforehand either. But we took a marriage counseling test, and it was so interesting. And this was like a couple months after we had separated. A pastor did it with us, and
after you separated?
After we separated, we still tried. Like we would, we did some counseling and spoke with pastors and like all of that. But on the feelings scale, he was like a -2.
Oh wow!
And I was like
way
top
up.
of the top. I was at a 10.
Yeah.
And so that made so much sense to me. And like I look back now, I'm like, okay, if we would have done that test, would that have changed anything? Probably not. Yeah. And again, it may not have even been the same when we were 18.
Yeah.
Or I was 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it, and I'm not going to sit here and point fingers and said, say he did this and I did, but we just, once you have kids, like it's hard to focus on your marriage. Like, there was no more courting. There was no more dating.
Yeah.
Kids became the focus, and then him going to school and his job became the focus, and my business became the focus, and there was no focusing on the marriage.
That is, I feel like I would assume, and just like from what I've talked with, whether it's my clients or the women I work with or just in general, that's a very common thing I hear, that as soon as kids come, it's, don't have time to work out, don't have time to, go get your nails done. And I totally get that. But it's like, you have to be your person to be, like, you have to fill your cup to be a good mom. And then, like, our pastor will even say, like, marriage comes first, then kids. Because kids learn love through looking at a marriage.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So what is some, like, if anyone's listening out there and they're like, yes, like, I feel this right now, like, where, I don't know if you have any advice or, like, what, like, I don't have kids. And so I can only imagine how tough that is to still put your marriage first.
Yeah. You have to remember there is no family without a marriage. There is nothing without a husband and a wife. So, like I said, kids became a priority, job became a priority, him going back to school became a priority, and so we just scattered. Yeah. We separated. Yeah. So like I've said, very faith-based, like God comes first, then your marriage, and then the kids. And I know that's even hard for people who, I think faith-based people maybe get that, but then not everybody gets that. Like you are what's holding this family together, is the husband and wife. So yeah, we can't put the kids above. And did I do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we both did.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say, like, you guys come first.
Mm-hmm.
Like, moms and dads, husband and wives come first.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to make sure that relationship is healthy. And the other thing is, too, kids see that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I've never been, I won't be like, I left my marriage because I wasn't happy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not about, yes, I'm about feelings, but it wasn't about me.
Mm-hmm.
What came more full circle for me was I wanted my kids to see a good, healthy,
mm-hmm.
happy friendship and a marriage.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it, like, so we were married 12 years. It's been 15 now.
Oh,
Sounds
yeah.
Sounds
Well,
terrible.
we'll talk about that in a second.
It sounds terrible. But where was I going with that? So, oh shoot, of course I have like a brain fart on air.
That's okay.
We'll come back.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. But you're just saying like how basically the reason you left wasn't because like you were unhappy, it was because you want the kids to see a happy marriage.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel like we don't even have kids yet. And like, so last night Jared and I went on a date night and we went to the movies because I told Jared that is one thing that I think we need to do better at, because we go on these huge elaborate trips, we feel great, and then we get back home and it's work, work, work. He is so focused on work. He's working really hard on his health and wellness now. I'm building a business. I'm doing this. And it will go weeks and it will be like, wait, like have we even hung out? And we are such social people that on the weekends when we go out to dinner, it's 6 other couples with us. And so that's great. Yes, we're going out to dinner, but that's not quality time. So we made it, this is like our second, maybe third week, but we're like, we have to do a date night or like a no one goes to the gym at night kind of thing because he goes super late, because it will be weeks and months without us literally even hanging out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Which is crazy.
That is very familiar to me. Yeah.
It's crazy. And people are like, but don't you guys both have flexible schedules and like work schedules and work from home? And I'm like, yes, we could be in the same room, but that's not quality time.
No.
Like I'm on my computer.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You can absolutely live in the same house with somebody, but not feel close with them at all. I know what I was going to say. And I mean, it goes along with everything, but like I would sit on the couch and I always explain it like we would have those monthly talks of I need this from you. Let's do this. I want to pray together. I want to read the Bible together. Okay, will you please take me out on a date? Like there was lots of trying. There were lots of flags. And it's so hard. Like it, you know, because I do feel like I tried, but I absolutely can relate to that because he's a big like vacationer, and we would go on 1, 2, 3, you know, mini vacations or vacation, and that was
like kind of brought it back up, and
to him that was our time, but like I even joke to this day, and I even said it, but I have short-term memory loss.
Yeah.
I need you to remind me or reassure me. And it is work to, okay, every Monday night, we're going to do this. We're going to get a babysitter because this is priority. This is what's important. Like, you have to. You have to make yourself. Because it's priority. It's if you have kids, it's what is going to keep you together, is having that quality time. And I absolutely, like, I'm sorry, but we are living in a society of where it's hustle and bustle.
It is. It's so much.
It's constant.
It's bad.
It's really bad.
And that's one thing that I liked so much about the past few like services I've watched is like actually my last podcast was on this. I was completely rambling. It really didn't make sense, but I just like was just talking, and I've been so like business and number focused that I like am losing the quality and like not the compassion, but like the reason why I wanted to start the business and helping women, that like it's become so much business focused. But I'm sure you can agree, like when you have your own business, it's hard not to do the grind and to focus on the numbers, because like that's literally how you make a living.
Yes.
But it's like your passion is in the creating and the photography.
Yes.
And so it's like, anyways, I don't know where I was going with that. I ramble too, but like basically like finances will come and all that will come, but like family is most important.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm saying this, but it's like I need to work on it. Okay, so started the business. Okay, so now we're at like the separation, because I feel like one of the main things that we were talking about, like with Nicole, and like why we even thought to do this podcast was like, I feel like divorce is such a taboo topic, and like people don't actually know like the nitty gritty of it unless you're going through it. And then even if you're going through it, because I've had friends that I've seen it, everyone's is so different, like so different.
Yes.
So like yours with like having the kids and everything, I feel like that's been really tough.
Yeah. Oh, extremely.
So obviously only share what you feel comfortable with, but like just kind of what's been going on.
Oh my goodness. So we separated, and again, like, yes, this had been a thought in the back of my head. Yes, we had our issues for years.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry. Please don't die on me.
Wow. Way to ruin a heartfelt moment. Okay, I think I'm good. Okay.
No, you're good. And yes, everybody's is different. There are some people who have it planned out. Like, I know.
What do you mean?
Oh, okay. So I know of somebody who literally had hers planned out. She went to the attorneys before she did anything, and they told her exactly what to do.
Oh, wow. Before she brought it up to her spouse?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So you can do it that way, and that maybe, I don't know. I go back and forth. Maybe it's kind of smart, maybe not.
Because you think once you like bring it up, it gets like nasty, or what?
No, like you kind of like, it's kind of smart, like it's kind of smart way, but at the same time it's like, oh, stink, like but no, like the attorneys will tell you exactly what to do. Take your 50%. If you don't want to live close, go buy a house before you get divorced.
Oh, wow.
There's so many, like I truthfully, I feel like I could be a lawyer at this
really?
point. Like, I've learned so much. I would never want to be. It is so emotionally exhausting me. I could not. No, never. But yeah, like everybody's is different. Obviously with us having 4 kids. And then I don't even think you're aware of this, that we have 2 kids with an extremely rare syndrome, which has caused, of course, lots of issues as well. So I did not plan mine out. It was kind of like, I made a mistake in the marriage, and I confessed it, and I was like, I'm just done. Like, like it was done before then. Yeah. Oh, it was done way before. Yeah. But I just was like, I just can't do this anymore. If I did that, then obviously, like, we're not healthy, and we're not going to get healthy. And we have tried for years. Yeah. I felt like I'd tried, I suggested before everything happened, let's go to marriage counseling, let's do this. And it was, I don't think we need to, type of thing.
When I feel like, we have the same, like, faith background, or, like, beliefs, and, like, obviously divorce is not the best route to go. No. But then also, flip side, is it better, not saying yours was, this is just a general, is it better to be an abusive, or, like, be unhappy, or, like, not, like, just live your life, like, platonically? Is that better? No. Like, so, like, obviously, like, the past 2 years have been super tough, and you're not 100% out of it. No. We'll talk about. But, like, what's the alternative? Like, staying in something that
I know isn't. And I go so.
It's just tough.
I go so. I mean, I'll be honest with you. There are days where I'm like, I should have just stayed.
Really?
Just been miserable. Maybe it would have been easier to get out when the kids were in high school.
I've heard that with some couples, like, they waited.
But then I'm like, ugh.
But that's not fair to you.
No,
like, I feel like you can still have a.
But I still, like, think about, my kids, of course, a lot, and their feelings, and it's just not an easy adjustment for anybody. Yeah. Mom, dad, kids, grandparents. Like, it is just not an easy adjustment. No, I know. I go so back and forth. Like, I don't like it. Like, I don't like divorce. And it's funny because you're on TikTok, and, like, they pick up on your algorithm, and I see a lot of divorce stuff, and, like, there's these moms out there, like, it's the best thing ever. And I'm
really?
Like, ugh, like, it's.
Are they on the opposite side of it? Like,
I don't know, because I mean, it was my decision. To do it. but definitely as a Christian, like you live with that guilt of it being like a sin. And I had people tell me I was going to hell.
Are you serious?
I had people tell me that my children's blood were on my hands. Like, I had people tell me my kids were going to need therapy.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. So you definitely, yes, faith-based, like, you definitely have those people and those concerns. Like, yeah, just like the back of your head concerns and, yeah.
Oh my goodness. So obviously I know a little bit about, how tough. So basically this started 2.5 years ago.
Yes.
Right?
So, yes. So I left in the end of 2019. We tried some counseling. He was very angry, obviously. It was just, it's funny. There's this new Kelsey Ballerini song.
I am obsessed with her. I went to her concert Sunday night. Did you see that?
No.
Yes. Me and Kelly went obsessed. Obsessed.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
I love that new album.
Oh, so good.
Oh, my gosh.
Did you know she wrote that, was going to release it and never talk about it, never do it again, but it blew up so much she is now performing it in her tour.
Really?
Yeah, she sang it.
Oh my gosh. So
which one are you talking about?
The
Penthouse?
No, Were You Blindsided?
Oh,
were you
just blind?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like I said earlier about the flags, like there were so many flags. Like, here's the other thing. Actually, it just came to my mind. So I was always taught not to say the word divorce.
Yeah.
So the word never came out of my mouth in 12 years.
Oh, wow.
That word, it was always taught to me, and I'm a rule follower. Like, I was like the perfect person. No sex before marriage. Yeah. Like, I didn't drink, I didn't cuss. And so whatever a pastor would tell me, like, that's what I would
you're
do.
saying, don't talk, like, use it as like a threat. Like,
yeah. So if we were in a fight or argument or whatever, I was always taught, you don't ever bring that up. You can't take it back. And so I look back now, and not that I'm like, oh, you should say it.
Yeah.
But would he have maybe woke up sooner if I would have used the word divorce?
Like, he didn't think you were actually gonna leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I was just gonna just sit back in this very mundane, like, relationship where I like dying inside.
So you felt like he felt blindsided?
Oh yeah. So he was very angry. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Because he didn't see it coming, which I'm just like,
like, how do you not?
Yeah.
But that is so true. Like, if you're not supposed to even like bring this stuff up, how do you even like be like, I'm at this point, we either fix it or I'm gonna leave?
Which I felt like I was saying it when I was doing my couch conversations once a month of, I need this from you. I think we need to work on this. We should go talk to a counselor. Like, those were my hinting.
I mean, those are pretty good
without
hints.
using the word divorce.
Yeah.
So we, I left, I went and lived with my parents. He stayed in the farmhouse, and we tried counseling, and it just did not work. I was very done. Yeah. Like, and that is kind of a regret of mine, again, is not, like, if I would have brought up the D word, 2 years ago, ago, would he have maybe changed? I don't know. But at that point, I was just done.
So why has it taken so long? Like, why?
Oh, gosh.
I feel like it's been like such a
long process. We tried mediation first, which I think everybody should do.
And is that when you guys, like, so the divorce is happening, but like mediation is you guys try to figure it out?
So,
like, what does that mean?
No. So when you go to mediation, you meet with a mediator. You do not file yet. You do not have a lawyer. Your mediator is both of your lawyers, basically. And you try to come to an agreement without involving lawyers, lawyer fees, the court system, judges, GALs. You try to avoid all of that and come to an agreement. The two of you who know your children the best should be able to just be able to put emotions aside and do what's best. Plan. Yeah, but that's very, very, very hard to do, especially if one person is completely blindsided in quotation.
And angry. Okay, so that's why it's taken so long, because you've had to go.
So we tried mediation. That did not work.
Yeah.
Sadly, it did not work. It would have saved us so much time and money and just dirty fighting.
Yeah.
And the other thing is too, when I talk about money, it's like, it's not our money, it was our kids' money that I feel like it was just completely, because now we have been in the court system and, different attorneys, and we had the mediation costs on top of that, which is very interesting, because if we would have got it done with a mediator, it's only like $3,000.
Okay, really, but still $3,000 just to come up with a plan?
Yeah. So to pay her for her time, or his or hers, like, so to me, like, after everything that we've spent, like, that's nothing.
Oh my gosh.
So we could have had it done for like $3,000, but that was not the case. And again, he was just very angry, and he wanted to move the kids out of state.
Yeah. Which,
I don't know if you know this, but in the state of Illinois, you can't move further than 50 miles.
I didn't know that. Like, as long as you stay? Or what do you mean,
so
50 miles
if we both wanted to move to Tennessee, we could. But no, he wanted to move the kids 6 hours away. And there was no way that I was...
Like, you would have to move.
Yeah, and there was no way. Like, I already did.
Yeah.
I went to Kansas City for 6 years.
Well, and you don't know anyone there, so you're going to be in the same situation.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No.
So at that, and he was just being very pushy, and there were just lots of, it just got yucky, dirty, and so I ended up filing with my attorney July 1st, 2020.
Oh, yeah. My goodness gracious.
I think that's right. I could be wrong, though.
Well, that would be, so this July would be 3 full years.
No, 21, sorry.
Okay.
July 1st, 2021.
Oh, goodness.
So, yeah. Gosh. And then it came about that I was basically an unfit mother.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Accused of. And so then
even though you stayed with the kids 24/7.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
And even during that too, he asked me to keep the kids during the summer for him while he worked. And it was like, well, if I'm an unfit mother and I'm an alcoholic and I do sexual things in front of the kids, then why would you want me to keep
did the court system know that was a red flag?
So what happens next?
Like, that was false.
What happens next is you hire an attorney for the children. So that's a GAL, also known as a guardian ad litem.
Oh my goodness.
So he felt the need to hire a guardian ad litem for the kids. So basically, this attorney gets to know the kids, interviews them, comes to each parent's home, and checks everything out. Here's our story, here's the kid's story. It talks to pediatricians, talks to everybody, gets schools, teachers, gets everybody involved. And then
so now your whole life is literally in the hands of somebody many people
else
outside of you.
Yes. So I have found out or learned that basically if we were to file for divorce, most of the time the judge will require, if the mediation didn't work, the judge will require a GAL. And the GAL basically does the work for the judge, because the judge still gets the final call.
Yeah, but they present, here's what I found.
The GAL, Okay. And so 9 times out of 10, a judge goes off what the GAL says. Yeah. Because he's the one that's done the homework. The judge can't do that.
Yeah.
So we were doing 50-50 at that point, which was hard because, again, I was home all day with the kids. Truthfully, and this isn't a bad thing, but we were at a 70-30 already. Yeah. I had 70%. He was doing his 30% because he worked outside. Yeah. We had a very traditional, old school marriage where he was the breadwinner. I stayed home and took care of the children. Yes, I was making some money with the photography, but again, that at that time was more like a hobby, like an outlet, fun thing for me to do. So we were doing 50-50, which as a mother, like that was very hard.
Yeah.
And then the GAL came along and decided, no, she should have 60%.
Oh,
like,
wow.
At least.
And he didn't like that.
No, he did not like that because he was the one that wanted him on the case, and then for him to come along and say, no, you actually have too much time. She needs more time.
Yeah.
And that, of course, made him angry as well.
Yeah. So
we got that recommendation in July of last summer, and he's been fighting it still ever since.
Well, and like you've told me, like it's like court date, pushback, pushback. So like even when things were supposed to be done last fall, we're now into spring.
Yes. Yeah. So, attorneys are busy. And we're even dealing with like a small courthouse. I don't know if it would be any different if it was a bigger courthouse. I really don't know, but it really just depends on the GAL schedule, both attorney's schedule, the courthouse schedule, and so like everything is just so drawn out. And then truthfully, I like my attorney, but like let's just be honest, like a lot of them, they're making money. Yeah. So they'll bring up stuff and it just gets dirty. Like I truly wish we could have done mediation. I think that we would have a much better co-parenting relationship if we could have done the mediation. And
that's what I feel like I see most of the time is when a divorce happens, it's very rare if the two come together very well. Like
it is
after the divorce. And
I will say, I don't know, I would say in like the last 10 or 15 years, divorce has almost been like you hear I feel like in the last 15 to 10 years you hear more of a positive thing about divorce and co-parenting, and like I think it's great. Yeah. But like now I sit back and I'm like, there are really not many people who have that great of co-parenting relationship. Like I don't know why I think about this, but like Teen Mom, like on MTV, like there were some that had like good co-parenting relationship. Like we can do this for the kids. And now I'm like, maybe I was just fooling myself because I maybe I was just very naive, but like I really thought we could have at least had a really good co-parenting relationship. But once attorneys get involved and you start blaming, like GALs get involved, like it just gets dirty.
And like the percent of time with kids, I feel like has been like probably the most like struggle, because I know people that do not have kids and they didn't have a house, like just basically younger, and the divorce was like, sign your name, bye.
Oh yeah. I had a friend just like that too. Like hers was done in less than 3 months.
So do you think it's because of just you have more parts, the house, the kids, finances, like all of that, or
I think
just because it keeps fighting?
I think a lot of it had to do with anger, and bitterness. He like I said, he wanted to move out of state, and so like just a lot of unrealistic like expectations even. But more than anything, anger and bitterness played a big part in it. Yeah. And then I was a stay-at-home mom for 12 years. Like this mama bear, like definitely comes out in you in this process. Yeah. And there's days where you're not sure you're going to make it. And like there's days that you're like, I would just want to give up. Like so many days. People don't know.
Gosh.
And like it's just like, no, like I am fighting for my kids.
Oh my goodness. And then just like putting on a front, like I feel like if I have a bad day or something, like I don't show up on social, like I get the bare minimum done and then it's done. So it's like your whole business is social media. Yes. So it's like, well, not like obviously you do the editing, the pictures off of social media, but like you're getting new clients, or like continuing is showing up. And that is, I cannot, like you're literally a rock star. Like I don't know how, like mentally I don't know, like
it's so hard.
I just really don't.
And because I'm such a feelings person, like I have a hard time not showing my feelings to people. So, I mean, we were even still today, like, I feel like I struggle, but I've really had to learn how to fake it.
But that's what, like, that's literally one of the reasons I wanted to do this podcast, because I guarantee there are either people listening or even just, like, you sitting here that are, like, whether it's a divorce or a bad job or whatever, like, they just go through their days feeling like they can't show up how they're feeling, or, like, they have to pull something aside or like, keep something in.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to come across as, like, doom and gloom.
Well, yeah, obviously you don't get on your story every day and be like, hi, I'm having an awful day. Like,
oh my gosh, I know. And see, it's funny because I have definitely retracted, because I was on stories all the time, posting all the time. I mean, you see over the last 2 years, like, I'm very rarely on there, and it's because I have such a hard time. And the other reason is too, like, and I've always been like this, but, like, I feel like I'm lying to you.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm acting
totally
all happy and goody. And so, like, there are times, like, when I come to a Above Able shoot or whatever, or anything like that, or even just a regular shoot or a family function where, like, I am not, like, that is going to be my faking it for the week. Yeah. And so to then have to get on social media, and again, too, we talked about, like, how, let's just be honest, like, social media is fake. Like, and I have learned a lot from that, even because people looked at me like I had 4 heads when they found out that we were going through a divorce, because they were like, oh, I thought you were so happy.
Well, what are you going to do? Post every fight on Facebook?
Right.
No.
I know. No. But I do feel like there needs to be more of a happy, like, you know, like a good balance. But again, I don't want to be on there like doom and gloom all the time, especially on my business page. But it is so hard.
I literally posted about that on Monday because it was just not a good day. It just really wasn't. And I actually came on and said I wasn't having a bad day, because literally Kelsey at the concert was talking about, like, if you're having a great day, like, you're on top of the world, don't let someone dim it. But then vice versa, like, you can have a bad day, you can be in your feelings and don't feel like you have to fake a smile. But then also, like, why would someone want to work with me as a dietitian if I'm coming on, like, and saying I'm having a bad day, blah, 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 like, why would you want to work with me? And so I'm always like, just because I'm having a bad day doesn't mean I don't love what I'm doing. Like, I love what I'm doing. I can still be a great dietitian, but I'm having a bad day.
Oh, yeah. And I appreciate that honestly, more than anything, than if you were to get on there and act happy and bubbly 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Because that wouldn't be relatable to me.
Yeah.
And I'm even, like, speaking for myself, too, because I need to get on there and be like, I'm having a terrible day. I think that if you can find a small group of people, friends or family, to be able to vent to, that helps tremendously, because then I can get everything off my chest that day. And I've had those 3 or 4 people in my life the last 2 years that have just listened to me, and it has helped so much.
And especially in something like this, like, you can't probably go to obviously tell everyone, not that you would want to tell your business to everyone, but when so many legal things are going on,
oh my goodness,
and, like, families involved, it's like, you can't just go, I would assume you can't just go tell everyone, social media, because then they'll pull that and use it. And
it's funny. One of my first meetings I had with my attorney was about social media.
Really?
And what to post and what not to post.
Yeah.
Which is hard because I was in such a running my business full force for 2 years prior, where everything went on social media, most of the good stuff.
Yeah.
And then here I've had this season, the past 2 years, of just really not good stuff. Don't get me wrong, there's been some really great stuff in the last 2 years, so that's why I'm like, finding that balance. But yeah, like, I have felt like almost like a thumb has been put on me of like, you can't talk about this, you can't post this, you can't do this, which has been very difficult for me. I have felt over the last 2 years so held back because, truthfully, like, there's so many eyes on me. Yeah. The attorneys, the GALs.
Oh my gosh.
We were in court, and I mean, they were pulling up social media stuff. Like, some of the evidence was some of my social media. So that's another, like, I'm going to put in this plug right now. Be careful.
Oh
like,
my gosh.
You post on social media.
Well, and I feel like I'll talk to my mom or something, and, like, she obviously doesn't work on social media, didn't grow up on social media. So when I talk about the struggles of social media, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. And that's totally fine. Sometimes I really wish I wasn't on social media at all.
Oh, I know.
But when your whole entire business and income is on social media. This right here stresses me out even thinking about like, I mean, I'm sure I share too much on social media sometimes, but like going through that and then pulling your social media.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ah!
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I overthink everything now and second guess everything I put on there. I can't tell you how many times I've posted and deleted stuff over the last 2 years. Oh yeah. And I think it's gonna get better. Like I really do. But like I said too, like I've learned like there needs to be a good balance of like my life. And I go, this is interesting too. Like just because I've gotten out of this divorce doesn't mean like my life is like amazing now or like the grass is greener on the other side. Yeah. Like you're gonna have issues with anybody you come in contact with, always. But you need to find the person you want to have issues with.
Yeah.
Who do you need to find, and you need to have a friend in a marriage. Like you need to find somebody that can make you laugh and do fun things with and like have a good relationship with. And this is something else, and I even hate to say it, but it is the truth. Like it's sad because I am dating somebody at this point, and because we don't have kids all the time, like we have a really good relationship. Yeah. I love my kids. Like I absolutely wish like my marriage could have worked out for everybody involved. But we just didn't have that friendship, and it was because we didn't have that time, or we didn't, I guess, invest that time that we should have. But it's so sad. But like now that I don't have my kids 100% of the time, I'm able to focus on myself and on this relationship.
Well, and like parents are still adults. Like you still need to be filling your cup as an adult, like we talked about, and that includes having someone to love you and to be able to talk and to feel supported and all of those things.
I was the church we went to in Kansas City too. It was very like it was very against filling your own cup. And so I've had to kind of like train my mind that like I am important. Like what I want, like that is important because also like my kids need a healthy mom.
Yes.
And if I'm giving to the church people,
everyone else but yourself.
Everybody else but myself, like that is going to drain me. Like it's just it's just common sense. And so I had to like I had to reverse my thinking on that. And I'll even still deal with like feeling guilty. Yeah. I went and got my nails done today. Like I felt so guilty spending the money and spending that time doing that.
Wow. I hear that all the time. Again, I do not have kids. I don't have literally any advice or experience or anything, but I hear that so much. And a girl that I follow on YouTube, she has 2 young babies and owns her own business and things like that. And she makes comments all the time how people will say like you're not giving enough to your kids or whatever, and she's like, if me going to yoga for an hour makes me a better mom, I'm gonna do that. So, and also like your kids see that, like they're gonna see like, oh, mom's taking care of her health, mom's going on trips with friends, like that's good. Like, that's good.
And I think too, like you can involve your kids in those things too,
for sure,
but you don't always have to. So it's been interesting. This has been the first year where all the kids have been in school. So I've had days to myself, which I think has made a huge difference as well
being
in like my mental health.
Oh my gosh,
So,
So if someone is, I promise I won't keep you too much longer, but I do have some questions. So if a female is listening to this and either on the side of she's feeling like maybe that is the route, or like maybe just sitting there and like this is resonating, do you have any like advice or support or anything? I know that's probably a really general question.
Goodness.
But I just have a feeling like some of the things you said, and I probably should have pinpointed them, like I have heard people specifically say some of these things, like feeling the same way.
Oh yeah. I think good communication is key, and I am not going to tell you to say the word divorce.
But like tell when your needs are not being met.
Yeah. And I think definitely communicating, making sure they hear you. Like, even if you have to grab them and shake them, like, and then make sure you try everything you can. And then this piece will come, and you'll know. Does that mean you're not going to struggle? No. We still struggle. I have a piece. Do I still struggle? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would say it needs to be the last resort as well. I'm telling you, you're going to have issues with whoever you're with. You just need to find, and that was the thing, like, I truly feel like if we had a good friendship, but had issues, like, we could have made it. But the fact that we didn't even have that, was just difficult. So yeah, I would, and just make sure you have that peace, and make sure it's your last resort. I mean, I'll sit here and tell you, like, it is not. It stinks. Yeah, it really does.
But you're happy now.
I am.
In a good relationship, and you see the light.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. And that's the other thing. Like, I'm so close to being done. In this, and I can, like, that thumb, like, I can feel it coming off of me. Like, I can feel this weight, and I know, like, I'm sure there's faith-based people listening. Like, there's a reason Jesus died on the cross for us. Like, I'm not going to hell. I'm not. I'm going to say that right now. I'm not going to hell because of this. No. Neither are my children. No. So yeah, like, things are gonna be good. They are, and more than anything, like, I think I had said it too. Like, it's not just about me being happy. It was about, I wanted a testimony for my kids to see I want my kids to want to get married. Oh, I love that. That's such a good, like, wording of that. Yeah, I do think that's really good. Right. Yeah, I want my kids to see a good, healthy, happy relationship and want to get married. And I don't think they would have saw that. Oh, I love that so much. Well, that, I mean, is basically all of my questions, and I feel like that was, I think it was smooth. I do too. I feel like we kept it pretty good, and you explained, and I think this is going to help a lot of people, and if anything, it's going to make women feel seen and heard and comfortable. Good. I hope so. I really do. I hope I helped somebody, and I know it is a taboo topic. And you have to be careful. I love talking about taboo topics. I do too. Like, truthfully, I do too. But again, like, it's not done, and so I'm like, it's, still kind of have like that seal on me. Maybe I can come back sometime. We can talk more. I love talking about taboo subjects. I do too. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Thank you everyone for listening, and until the next podcast, have a great rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Your support means more than you know. If you enjoyed this episode, I would be so grateful if you could leave a kind review, subscribe to this podcast, as well as share this on your social media with a screenshot. I am blessed to have this opportunity to connect with individuals like you and hopefully bring you some happiness today. You are the reason Authentic Health is possible. I value all of you so much. If you'd like to get to know me a little bit more, you can find me on Instagram at Lacey_Authentic Health, as well as my website listed in the description below. So thank you again, and until the next episode, let's chase our best selves and make it a great day.